Hey YouTube, just gonna give you guys an update on the tank today. I think it's been a little bit over 2 weeks since I've had the Radions on there, since I upgraded from the AI primes. Seen lots of little changes, nice little colors starting to pop. Things are really starting to adjust to the to the Radions. So initially I thought I was going to do a really long acclimation to these lights. And I started doing a little bit more research, and essentially the word on the street is these G6s are not as powerful as the G5s because they spread the light a little bit more, you get less par. So my initial reaction when I first got them, I was like, oh, don't let me burn up these corals. I still haven't done a par test. So I was gonna do like a 60-day acclimation. That was way too long. And not really called for, because to be honest, I think I was running my primes with a lot more par than I initially thought I was. So I remember when I did the par test with the primes, at the top of the rockscapes, at least I was getting like 100 par to 120. Like I said, I still haven't done a par test with these Radions. I just changed the acclimation mode to 2 weeks. Today is the last day of those 2 weeks, so it's at 100% now. So I'm just waiting to see the ill effects, but nothing really bad has happened yet. So that leads me to believe that I'm either hitting those average numbers that I was getting with the primes as far as par goes, or it's right around that same point or intensity. So eventually I'll get a par test done, so that way I can give you guys some detailed information about what I'm getting as far as the par intensities for these lights. Although I don't think it's really all that important. As long as you set it and forget it, you know, the corals will just kind of adjust. But I'll show you guys some of the little changes that I've seen real quick while I'm on my lunch. So first things first, I think the first thing that stands out to me now, 2 weeks after having these Radions, is definitely going to be the pop, the shimmer of things. And I also noticed that there's not a lot of hot spots. One coral that's like really changing a lot is this New York Nick. So before with those primes, that gold was not as fluorescent. But you can see on some of the tentacles over here on this right polyp, like almost the end of the tentacle is almost all gold. So a few more months, I believe that whole colony will look like that. Of course, this Hellfire has always looked just great. It's probably the easiest torch that I've ever had. Versus the Cotton Candy, I think the most finicky torch for me was a Cotton Candy. No matter where you put it, it just stays shrunken up. It doesn't really come out that much for me. But yeah, definitely that New York Nick, the gold's coming in. This bird's nest, like I said, sheesh, that thing colored up really quickly. It didn't take any time. I think maybe the first week I put those Radions on there, it just kind of popped and the whole thing changed. So it's a lot more fluorescence, growing a lot faster already. I was gonna move it and try to center it on that shell, but I think I'm just gonna leave it alone and just let it do what it do. This red Monty cap, it was definitely brown a few weeks ago. Like in some of my older videos, it's just straight brown to the eye, but in person it looked a little bit more orange. Now to the eye, it definitely is orange. And on camera it comes up as orange too now, so. Starting to see the SBS likes the lights a lot. The LPS, the torches love it. That gold hammer back there is just getting brighter and brighter every time I look at it. Everything's looking fat and happy. I don't know if these snails are getting too big for my tank. They're just starting to outgrow it, or they're just getting really, really strong. But maybe 2 or 3 days ago, I came and looked at the tank in the middle of the night. That torch was on the ground. It was sitting dead center. I'm pretty sure one of the snails knocked it off because it was a snail on the rock. Ironically, at the same time. The day after that, I came in here and this acan was on the ground. So I was like, wow, so somebody's just bulldozing my stuff overnight. But yeah, I might have to swap those Mexican turbo snails out because they're getting really strong. This is the last squirrel I added. This mushroom's still looking pretty good. I hope that it can get a little bit brighter greens in there. This Ghani is supposed to be a trade. So I'm supposed to be trading this weekend, but I got vacation and stuff coming up, so I'm just running around like crazy. But yeah, I just wanted to give you guys an update. Just kind of show you how some things are coming along. I know there's not a lot of videos out here, especially folks documenting in detail, like switching and upgrading lights and stuff like that. And my apologies, because I don't own a camera or a tripod. I probably could have been a little bit more detailed, because that's what I look for when I research things and when I'm investing in new equipment and stuff like that. I want to know the before, the after, you know, what you experience during, things like that. But like I said, I don't have a camera, I don't have a tripod, so this iPhone 13 Pro has been my only documentation tool. But there's a tank. Let me get back to this lunch. All right, y'all.